Hi, this is Bob Miglani, bestselling author of Embrace the Chaos. I am so delighted to have two wonderful guests with me today, Merit Kahn and Julie Holmes. They are experts on sales, everything sales. Merit focuses on techniques in sales and selling, and Julie focuses on technology. Two very important, the yin and yang of selling in chaos. Today, we're going to talk about how do we sell in chaos. And by the way, they have an amazing podcast. Hi, Julie.
Hello.
Hi, Merit. I just want to say hello, first of all. How are you?
Good, good.
Wonderful, wonderful. They have got a fantastic podcast, and it's called the Smarter Sales Show, available everywhere. It's a podcast. You've got to hear it. They talk about technique. They talk about technology and how you can succeed in sales in the chaos environment that we live in today. So thank you for joining me on my show today, Selling in Chaos, Sales in Chaos. The world, as you know, has changed and is changing faster than ever. Julie and Merit, tell us, how do salespeople sell in chaos today? Maybe if I start with you, Merit. Merit, talk a little bit about selling in chaos today.
You know, the main thing about selling in a chaotic environment, and this happens to be a universally, globally shared chaotic experience, but there's so much added uncertainty on top of selling, which is frustrating in the best of times and for many people. And the thing that we want to be able to do is really take a good look at evaluate our messaging, our offers, and are they appropriate today in this current environment in the same ways that they were appropriate prior to. And it's a good opportunity to really evaluate those messages and offers and then make new decisions about how to make them appropriate in the current marketplace. And then really you need to get into action. Yeah. So those are the things that people, and right now in a chaotic environment, so many people they're frozen, right? They're right. Fighting against the change, or they're frozen in fear. And really it's about evaluate, make a decision, and get into action.
Right. That's terrific. Julie, what do you think about from a technology perspective? Everyone's on Zoom, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody's being forced to embrace technology to a certain extent, but I think that it will really make a difference to those people who are embracing it and moving forward with it, as opposed to kind of being drug along by the current. Right. So the more we are forced to physically distance ourselves from other people, the more we are having to really look at and rethink the way that we use tech to connect. And not just tech to physically connect, like, oh, I'm going to Zoom somebody, but what are the strategies that we're using from an interpersonal communication perspective, from a tools perspective? How are we staying in touch with people, and how are we bridging that distance gap more effectively? Like, for example, are we still sending sales emails, or are we starting to send video sales messages? You know, are we texting people, or are we just making phone calls? So all of these different, and the funny thing is it isn't just the current chaos that we're facing that is causing us to rethink the way that we leverage technology in sales. It's happening every day, all day anyway, as new generations come into the workforce and into the marketplace. They have very different expectations about how sales professionals will interact with them and how they want that interaction to happen. So technology is what is going to be the great equalizer.
Right.
So big or small.
Yeah, no, and I think it's a very good point. We have to embrace it, but I think a lot of sales leaders struggle with, oh my God, it's so confusing, so big, so much. I don't want to spend a lot of money. And I suppose there's the other part of it, which is their age differences, right? The millennials are more likely to adopt it and be quicker to respond. What do you say to a sales leader today, Merit and Julie? What do you say? What's the one thing you think they should be doing right now in the next couple of weeks as a sales leader? You've got a sales team and yes, you've got technology, you've got Microsoft Teams, you've got Zoom, but what's the one thing they should really be focusing on tactically, Merit and Julie, as a sales leader?
Well, I would say from a technique perspective, it's really important to not be in an argument with reality. Sometimes we're we stick our heels in the ground and we're just going to keep going with what our technique or strategy was. and we're not allowing for that new information to come into our experience so that we can make new decisions moving forward that would be more appropriate in this kind of an environment. So I would say if I was a sales leader, if I was advising a sales manager or sales director at this point about what do I do to get my team on board with this, my magic phrase, I say it all the time, is, are you open to? So I might say to my team, hey guys, I know we were on this path, but are you open to having a new discussion and coming up with some new ideas for how we might shift our strategy, shift our messaging, shift our offers out there? What are you hearing? And let's take let's be willing to be flexible in this environment and move forward in some different ways.
Right. I love that. I love that, because it's not saying to them, hey guys, we got to change. We're getting killed out there, share, cash flow, struggling. So I love that. So say that again. So instead of saying, hey, we have to change because of this new world, we have to say, are we open, or are you open?
Are you open to? And it would be the same strategy I would share with the sales team directly to go out and have conversations. So right now you've got salespeople that have high level of empathy for others and maybe a lower level of assertiveness. That combination is going to mean they're not going to pick up the phone right now at all in any type of chaos. They're going to buy in. They're going to use the chaos as a justification to not do what they probably weren't doing anyway in sales activities. So what you want to be able to share with them is that same soundbite that they can pick up the phone or make a video call, to Julie's point, and just say, hey, I know there's chaos out there, right? We're in the midst of a lot of change. Are you open to having a business conversation about something that we can actually control, in spite of the fact that there's a lot of uncertainty around us, in spite of this chaos? And most of the people that have taken that advice to heart and used it in the real world now are finding that people are so grateful that they acknowledged the environment, but also gave them some freedom to step in and have a real business conversation. It just feels so much more normal.
Right. Oh, I love that. Julie, what do you think?
From a tech perspective, I think first and foremost, it's be prepared to iterate. Don't overthink things. Get in there, try something, fail fast, move on, try something different. But I think, Merit's point's an excellent one. And I would encourage sales leaders to do exactly the same thing from a tech perspective. Sit down with their teams and say, what are you seeing out there? What are you experiencing? What's working well? I think what happens a lot of times is sales leaders get this kind of feeling that they have to be in the front line and they have to be in charge of everything. And they are the ones that will dictate what gets used within the team. And in the same way that we saw a transition to bring your own devices to work, we are starting to see that bring your own solutions to work, right? So the products that they're seeing and the tech that they're seeing and the way that they are best getting results with their prospects and their customers is really important. So they need to be listening. So in short, if you're a sales leader, first go out and make a list of every resource that you have at your disposal right now. What is all the tools and all the apps and what functionality are you using each and every one? And then figure out what the gaps are and start to plug those gaps and leverage your team to tell you how.
I love that. I love that. I love the idea of actually speaking to the people who are on the front line, actually understanding, getting a real feel for it. And I suppose it doesn't hurt actually to call customers and say, listen, we are in this with you together. Tell us what you need. How can we better improve our relationship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me so as we talk about sales and selling in chaos, Merit and Julie, you both are experts, technique. Merit focuses on technique. Julie, you focus on technology. Can you give us one tip from a technique perspective and from a technology perspective for a salesperson today? A salesperson, maybe they've been selling for 10 years, 20 years. I worked in pharma. So a lot of pharma salespeople, medical devices. Can you talk about a tool and a technique, one tip that might be helpful for those people who are selling today in those industries?
I would say from my perspective, it's actually less about the technique right now and more about the mindset that technique is layered on top of. So when I work on sales technique and sales action plans and game plans and, teaching a whole sales methodology with my clients, I always start with the sales mindset. I want to know that the techniques that that they're going to learn are not going to fall through the gaps. So if they have, empathy is too high and assertiveness is too low, or if their optimism right now has taken a bit of a hit, you've got to be able to see a positive outcome to then take stock of reality and what are the things I need to do to reach that positive outcome. But if you don't see the positive outcome, it's going to be really hard for you to allow these better techniques or tech to be implemented, because fundamentally you don't see the positive outcome. And that's the very first thing that I would work on. Take stock of, what do you hear yourself saying about what is possible in a chaotic environment in which you have to sell? And then do you have that I'm going to find a way my mindset, or do you have that I'm going to wait it out mindset?
Right. And I think it's about milestones. I think you said it really, I mean, we all try to sort of get healthy. I try to lose weight, beginning of the year, and I go work out. Oh, nothing is happening. No milestone. So it's really important, as you say, is to have certain milestones towards that outcome, to have some level of progress. If we don't feel we're progressing into this new world, then we feel very demotivated. So a coaching call, I suppose, with Merit might be in order one of these days. I mean, I think it's very important to have that mindset be reset frequently. So I love that, Merit. Thank you. Julie, what do you think? What's one tip that you have from a technology perspective for salespeople out today?
Embrace video. But don't just use video, use it well. Everybody is using video right now. The question is, are you using it well? So if you're getting on video, whether it's a Zoom call or whether you're doing video voicemails or whatever it is, people are desperate for connection right now. They are desperate for that one-to-one personalized connection. So one of the things that I'm getting asked most often right now from sales teams is, help us be brilliant to use this technology, to use video really effectively to connect to prospects and to our customers, and frankly, even to our colleagues. Yeah. So use video and use it well.
Right. So record a message and just send it to them, or put like a personalized message in a way, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be, this is the thing, what's happened recently, especially with all of the remote working that we're seeing, is that it's changed what expectations are around video. We're not expecting people to show up in a studio with, production quality, 1400 watt lights, and pearly whites. We're seeing people with kids in the background and cats walking across the screen. And, we're hearing, construction outside, all kinds of things. People are more human, and they're expected, and they're okay with that humanness that's coming across on video. So when we talk about being great on video, it's not about being polished on video. Very different. You don't have to be polished on video. You have to be real, but you have to be able to connect on video. And that is a special set of skills. So go and master those skills.
I love that. And that builds relationships. That continues and that's what selling is all about, is relationships in a value-based way. So Julie, thank you so much. Merit, thank you so much. I want to just say, I've had a wonderful time speaking with Merit Kahn and Julie Holmes, who are stars, they're sales stars. Both work together on a podcast. It's called the Smarter Sales Show. It's a podcast that's available everywhere. Merit Kahn, where can we find you? And Julie, where can we find you if people want to keep in touch with you?
Well, together the podcast website is thesmartersalesshow.com. You can email us there at hello@thesmartersalesshow.com. And my business email is merit@meritbasedbusiness.com.
Wonderful.
And I can be found on thesmartersalesshow.com, but I can also be found at julieholmes.com. And my email is hello@julieholmes.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Merit Kahn, Julie Holmes. I've learned so much. I want to talk to you more. Please promise me that you'll come back and give me an update on some of the things that you're working on. I think it's really important as we close this show, Leading in Chaos and Selling in Chaos. And we just mentioned that salespeople are really important. Your job today as sales is to bring cash flow into the company so that the company and the business can survive and thrive. And that means employees can have a job, people can have a paycheck so they can feed their families and have a good, positive future. So anything we do in sales is critical to bringing the economy back. And I want to thank you, Julie, for what you do every single day. Thank you, Merit, for what you both do every day, encouraging sales leaders to embrace change and embrace chaos. So thank you very much. This is Bob Miglani, bestselling author of Embrace the Chaos, with Julie and Merit. Have a great day. Take care.
Bye.